Disclaimer: the information provided in this video regarding email marketing, business strategies, software utilization, and audience building is intended strictly for educational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute professional business, financial, legal, marketing, or tax advice. The case studies, historical trends, and potential outcomes discussed throughout this presentation are illustrative and are not indicative of future results or guaranteed success. Building an email list and executing digital marketing campaigns involve inherent business risks, including but not limited to fluctuating engagement rates, unpredictable spam filter algorithms, shifting consumer behaviors, and complex compliance requirements with international data privacy laws such as the CAN-SPAM Act in the United States, the General Data Protection Regulation in the European Union, and the California Consumer Privacy Act. Viewers are strongly advised to conduct their own extensive due diligence, research current legal frameworks governing commercial messaging, and consult with certified professionals, attorneys, or financial advisors before making any business decisions or allocating capital based on the contents of this video. We assume no liability for any actions taken, financial losses incurred, or account suspensions experienced as a result of implementing the strategies, software configurations, or marketing methodologies demonstrated herein. Stop pouring your entire marketing budget into the social media casino. If you are a business owner, a content creator, or a digital entrepreneur in the United States who is relying entirely on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube to reach your customer base, you are actively building your entire business empire on rented land. Tomorrow morning, an arbitrary algorithm update, an accidental terms of service violation, or a shadow ban could instantly and permanently sever your connection to every single person who buys your products or consumes your content. You have been sold a massive, coordinated lie by social media marketing agencies and platform gurus who want you to believe that email marketing is an outdated, irrelevant relic of the late 90s. The reality of the digital economy is far more brutal and far more profitable for those who understand the underlying mechanics of traffic control. Based on historical trends and extensive industry case studies analyzing thousands of e-commerce and service-based businesses, email marketing consistently continues to yield potential outcomes that completely crush social media organic reach. These case studies frequently demonstrate a historical average return on investment of $36 for every single dollar spent on email marketing infrastructure. When major tech companies rolled out massive mobile privacy updates, it severely limited the tracking capabilities of social media advertising, proving once again that if you do not own your audience data, you do not actually own a stable business. Yet, millions of entrepreneurs completely ignore this reality, because setting up an email service provider feels like trying to decipher a foreign language backward while blindfolded. Let me share a highly documented industry case study involving a Midwestern boutique e-commerce brand that perfectly illustrates this exact vulnerability. Over the course of 3 grueling years, the founder poured thousands of hours and tens of thousands of advertising dollars into building a highly engaged, visually stunning social media following of over 400,000 followers. Her engagement metrics were incredible, her daily sales were highly consistent, and her business was, by all external measures, thriving. She felt invincible. Then, on a random Tuesday in November, right before the most critical retail shopping season of the entire year, her primary social media account was abruptly suspended. There was no warning. There was no dedicated human support representative to contact. There was just a cold, automated notification stating her account had violated arbitrary community guidelines. Because she had never bothered to capture the email addresses of her hundreds of thousands of followers or her thousands of past customers, her entire distribution channel was instantly annihilated. Revenue plummeted from thousands of dollars a day to absolute zero overnight. She spent weeks desperately fighting the automated appeals system, paying expensive account recovery consultants, and watching her seasonal inventory collect dust as her business bank account steadily drained. The truly tragic part of this scenario is that this total business collapse was entirely preventable. If she had simply implemented a fundamental lead capture system and deployed one specific type of automated welcome sequence, she would have owned her audience data regardless of what any tech billionaire decided to do with their platform algorithm. In this comprehensive masterclass, I am going to reveal the exact architectural structure of that protective welcome sequence. But more importantly, I am going to show you the one hidden authentication setting buried deep inside Mailchimp that most beginners and even intermediate marketers completely overlook. A critical configuration that dictates whether your emails actually reach your audience's primary inbox or get permanently and silently buried in the dreaded promotional or spam folders, never to be seen by human eyes. You are watching this specific tutorial today because you fundamentally know you need to build and leverage an email list, but every single time you log into the Mailchimp platform, you are instantly paralyzed by the sheer volume of options, complex dashboards, and dense technical jargon. You do not want to spend the next 6 months of your life navigating convoluted automation workflows through trial and error, and you certainly do not want to make the catastrophic mistake of accidentally blasting the wrong promotional message to your newly acquired subscribers. Today, we are systematically eliminating all of that technical confusion and operational anxiety. This is not a superficial, high-level overview where I merely point at random buttons and leave you to figure out the technical complexities on your own. This is a comprehensive, deep-dive masterclass meticulously designed specifically to take you from a completely blank digital canvas to a fully operational, highly optimized, and legally compliant email campaign. We are going to deconstruct the entire Mailchimp ecosystem step by step. I will guide you through the exact internal architecture of setting up your very first audience list, so that your contacts are organized efficiently and logically from day one, preventing massive database headaches down the road. We will surgically dissect the critical operational differences between tags, segments, and groups, and I will show you precisely when and how to utilize each specific classification to ensure you are executing highly targeted marketing, sending the right message to the exact right person, at the precise moment they are most likely to convert based on historical purchasing behaviors. We will dive deep into the consumer psychology of a high-converting subject line, examining historical data on open rates to understand exactly what linguistic triggers compel a subscriber to actually click and consume your content. You will learn how to masterfully navigate the drag-and-drop campaign builder without pulling your hair out, ensuring your visual communications look incredibly professional, perfectly branded, and fully responsive on both desktop monitors and mobile devices, all without needing to write or understand a single line of coding language. Furthermore, we will tackle the dense technical foundation that almost all other tutorials completely ignore: domain authentication, technical records, and deliverability best practices. Because having a beautifully designed email means absolutely nothing if it immediately gets flagged and blocked by major email providers' incredibly strict new sender requirements. By the end of this exhaustive session, you will not just understand Mailchimp theoretically. You will have a tangible deployed campaign, a clear understanding of your back-end analytics to measure your potential outcomes, and the foundational infrastructure necessary to scale your own independent, algorithmic-proof digital asset. Let us dive immediately into the absolute core of the Mailchimp platform, the foundational bedrock upon which your entire email marketing ecosystem will be constructed, which is the audience. When you first log into your newly created Mailchimp account in the current year of 2026, the primary dashboard can feel incredibly overwhelming. The left-hand navigation panel is densely packed with analytics, campaigns, automations, website integrations, and content studios. But before you even think about designing a beautiful email template or writing a catchy subject line, you must absolutely master the Audience tab. The single most catastrophic structural mistake I see new users make, a mistake that completely destroys their potential outcomes and artificially inflates their monthly billing, is creating multiple distinct audiences for different types of contacts. Mailchimp operates on a strict single audience philosophy for most standard business models. To understand why this operational methodology is so critical, imagine if you are operating a local fitness center and you create one separate audience list for people who signed up for a free trial, another completely different audience list for paying monthly members, and a third audience list for people who bought your online nutritional guide. If a single customer signs up for the free trial, then upgrades to become a paying member, and also purchases the nutritional guide, his email address now exists in 3 completely separate data silos. Mailchimp considers each of those entries as a unique billable contact. You are now financially penalized, paying 3 times for the exact same human being. Furthermore, when you inevitably want to send a general facility update or a holiday newsletter to everyone, that customer is going to receive 3 identical emails simultaneously. This is the absolute fastest way to annoy your subscribers, trigger massive spam complaints, and permanently damage your sender reputation with major inbox providers. Let us look at a practical case study involving a business owner named Michael, who runs a specialty boutique coffee roasting facility in Portland, Oregon. When Michael first started his digital marketing journey, he fell directly into this exact multiple audience trap. He built separate lists for his past retail buyers, his wholesale restaurant leads, and his general website subscribers. His historical trend showed a massive, inexplicable spike in unsubscribe rates every single time, he sent a company-wide announcement because his absolute best, highest-paying customers were getting bombarded with duplicate promotional messages. We intervened and restructured his entire database architecture by migrating every single contact into one master unified audience. Once we consolidated his data, his monthly Mailchimp software subscription cost immediately dropped by 40%, and his overall engagement metrics stabilized. We achieved this not by creating chaotic multiple lists, but by utilizing tags and segments within that single master audience, a highly advanced organizational strategy that keeps your data perfectly clean. To set up this master audience correctly right now, navigate to the audience dashboard on the left side menu, click on the settings drop-down, and select audience name and defaults. This is your primary control center. Here you must carefully input your default from name. Do not just use your sterile corporate company name if you want to maximize your open rates. Historical trends across millions of sent campaigns consistently demonstrate that emails coming from a real, identifiable human being generate significantly higher trust and engagement. Instead of simply typing Portland Coffee Roasters, Michael updated his default from name to Michael from Portland Coffee Roasters. This minor psychological tweak leverages human-to-human connection and immediately distinguishes your message from faceless corporate marketing blasts sitting in their inbox. Next, you must configure your default from email address. This brings us to the most critical technical configuration of this entire masterclass, a step that absolutely dictates whether your emails actually reach the primary inbox or vanish entirely into the spam folder abyss. You cannot, under any circumstances, use a free webmail address like a Gmail, Yahoo, or Outlook account as your sending address for mass communication. The major inbox providers have implemented incredibly strict, heavily enforced sender verification protocols to combat phishing and malicious spam. If you try to send a mass commercial email campaign from a standard free Gmail address using a third-party tool like Mailchimp, the receiving servers will instantly flag it as fraudulent. You must use a professional custom domain, such as hello@yourbusiness.com. But simply owning the custom domain and typing it into the box is not enough. You must explicitly authorize Mailchimp to send emails on behalf of your domain. This mandatory process is known as domain authentication. Domain authentication involves generating specific cryptographic keys within Mailchimp and publishing them directly into the domain name system records of your domain registrar, whether you use GoDaddy, Namecheap, Google Domains, or Cloudflare. Specifically, you will be configuring the domain keys identified mail record and the sender policy framework record. Think of these complex technical records as a highly secure digital passport and a verified cryptographic signature. When an email leaves Mailchimp servers and arrives at your subscriber's inbox, the receiving servers immediately check your domain's public records. They are looking specifically for that exact digital signature. If the signature matches perfectly, the inbox provider knows the email legitimately came from your authorized system and has not been intercepted, forged, or spoofed by a malicious third party. Accounts that complete this rigorous technical step see dramatically higher deliverability rates, ensuring their potential outcomes are based on actual human viewership rather than getting silently blocked at the server level before the recipient even knows the email exists. To execute this right now, go to the website icon on the left menu, select Domains, and click Authenticate next to your verified email domain. Mailchimp will generate name records. You must log into your domain registrar, navigate to the DNS management zone, and create these new name records exactly as Mailchimp instructs. Copy the name and value fields with absolute precision. Once you save those records, return to Mailchimp and click the Final Authenticate button. Now that you have established a singular unified audience database and you have secured your technical sender reputation through proper domain authentication, you have built an unbreakable concrete foundation. However, having one massive list of authenticated contacts presents a massive new operational problem. If you send the exact same promotional message to a brand new subscriber who just discovered your brand yesterday, and to a loyal high-ticket customer who has spent $5,000 with you over the last 3 years, you are going to immediately alienate both of them. You need a way to invisibly organize, track, and precisely target these individuals within your master audience based on their exact purchasing behaviors and content preferences. You need to know exactly how to categorize them efficiently without ever creating those disastrous multiple lists. The secret to achieving this hyper-targeted personalization, and the exact strategy we use to double conversion rates across the board, lies in a very specific configuration of custom data fields and automated behavioral triggers, a hidden mechanism that most competitors completely misunderstand, and I am going to reveal exactly how to build out this highly profitable internal architecture right now. To perfectly construct this highly profitable internal architecture, we must fundamentally deconstruct and master 3 distinct organizational mechanisms within the Mailchimp ecosystem that cause endless confusion for the vast majority of digital entrepreneurs. These 3 pillars are tags, groups, and segments. Understanding the precise operational differences between these 3 tools is the exact dividing line between amateur marketers who blast generic newsletters to an unengaged audience and sophisticated business operators who engineer highly targeted, automated revenue machines. We will begin with the most basic yet incredibly powerful layer of organization, which is the tagging system. You must think of a tag as a strictly internal, invisible sticky note that you physically or automatically attach to a specific subscriber's profile file folder. The subscriber never sees this tag. It is purely for your own internal back-end data management. Imagine if you operate a rapidly growing physical therapy clinic located in Austin, Texas. You have hundreds of patients walking through your doors every single month with entirely different physical ailments. If a patient comes in for a specialized shoulder rehabilitation program, your front desk administration team, or your integrated booking software, should immediately apply a tag labeled shoulder_rehab_2026 to that specific patient's email profile within your master Mailchimp audience. Why is this granular level of data entry so incredibly vital? Because historical trends in healthcare marketing consistently demonstrate that relevancy dictates retention. 3 months from now, when you host a free digital workshop specifically regarding advanced rotator cuff strengthening exercises, you do not want to send that invitation to the patient who came in for a minor ankle sprain. Sending irrelevant medical information trains your audience to ignore your future communications. By utilizing the tag function, you can isolate strictly the individuals who have the shoulder_rehab_2026 tag and send the workshop invitation exclusively to them. To create your first tag right now, navigate to your audience dashboard, locate the Manage Contacts drop-down menu on the right-hand side, and select Tags. Click the Create Tag button and establish a rigid, standardized naming convention for your business immediately. I highly recommend using underscores instead of spaces and incorporating the current year, such as VIP_customer_2026 or webinar_Tindy_Q1. This strict naming discipline will prevent massive organizational chaos when your database inevitably grows to tens of thousands of contacts. Now that we understand tags are your internal sticky notes, we must examine the second foundational pillar, which is groups. While tags are completely hidden from the subscriber, groups are entirely public-facing. Groups are essentially categories that you present directly to your audience on your initial email sign-up form or on their subscriber preference center page, allowing the user to explicitly tell you exactly what kind of content they want to receive and how frequently they wish to receive it. Let us look at a comprehensive case study involving a digital media publisher named Sarah, who runs an expansive culinary website based in Chicago, Illinois. Initially, Sarah was aggressively sending a daily recipe email to her entire master audience. Her unsubscribe rates were absolutely catastrophic, and her spam complaints were putting her domain authentication at severe risk. We pivoted her strategy by implementing Mailchimp groups. On her primary website sign-up form, we added a required group selection category titled Content Preferences. Beneath this category, she offered 3 simple checkbox options: daily dinner recipes, weekly weekend baking guides, and monthly kitchen gadget reviews. By transferring the power of choice directly to the consumer, Sarah saw her open rates stabilize immediately. Subscribers were no longer overwhelmed because they were only receiving the specific categories of information they explicitly requested. To build this infrastructure, return to the Manage Contacts drop-down menu, select Groups, and click Create Groups. Mailchimp will ask you how you want these options displayed on your sign-up form. You can choose checkboxes if they can select multiple options, radio buttons if they must choose only one, or a drop-down menu to save visual space on your website. With your internal tags organizing their behavioral history and your public groups capturing their explicit content preferences, we can now unleash the absolute most powerful analytical engine within Mailchimp, which is the segmentation tool. If tags and groups are the raw building blocks, segments are the highly advanced, dynamic search engine that allows you to combine those blocks using complex logical conditions. A segment is not a static, fixed list of people. It is a constantly shifting, fluid filter that automatically pulls people in or pushes them out based on whether they currently meet the specific mathematical rules you establish. Let us visualize a highly profitable e-commerce scenario. Imagine if you are launching a massive, exclusive promotional discount for a high-ticket software product, but you only want to reward your absolute best, most loyal followers who actively engage with your brand. You do not want to offer this deep discount to people who joined your list yesterday or people who have ignored your last 20 emails. You navigate to the Segment section under Manage Contacts and click Create Segment. Here, you will utilize sophisticated and logic to build a highly restrictive parameter. You set the first condition to state that the contact must have the tag labeled "valid for purchaser." You then click Add another condition, ensuring the operator is set to and rather than OR, because they must meet all criteria simultaneously. You set the second condition based on campaign activity, specifically selecting the rule that they opened any of the last 5 campaigns. Instantly, Mailchimp scans your entire master audience database of potentially 50,000 people and generates a hyper-targeted dynamic segment of perhaps only 800 highly qualified, deeply engaged individuals. The potential outcomes of utilizing this level of advanced segmentation are staggering. Historical trends consistently verify that highly segmented campaigns generate significantly higher click-through rates and drastically lower unsubscribe rates compared to generic broadcast emails. Because you are sending the exact right message to the exact right person based on their verified historical data, the email feels incredibly personal, almost as if you wrote it exclusively for them. You have now completely mastered the back-end data architecture of your Mailchimp account. Your contacts are perfectly consolidated, meticulously tagged based on their actions, categorized by their own stated preferences, and ready to be dynamically segmented for surgical precision. You have built a flawless algorithmic-proof distribution channel. However, none of this flawless back-end architecture matters in the slightest if your subscriber simply deletes your email the millisecond it arrives in their inbox. You can have the most beautifully designed, highly targeted promotional campaign in the history of digital marketing, but if the single line of text they see on their mobile device fails to capture their immediate attention, your carefully crafted message will never be read. The absolute most critical barrier standing between your business and your customer's wallet is the psychological battlefield of the subject line. And next, we must completely deconstruct the specific cognitive triggers that force a subscriber to open your email immediately. We are now entering the most ruthless, competitive digital real estate in existence today, which is the mobile inbox of the American consumer in the current year of 2026. Historical trends indicate that the average professional receives well over 120 emails every single day. Their thumb is hovering directly over the archive or delete button, the exact moment they open their mail application. You literally have a fraction of a second to interrupt their deeply ingrained scrolling pattern. Your subject line is the undisputed gatekeeper of your entire email marketing strategy. It does not matter if you have engineered the most brilliant, high-converting promotional offer in your company history. If your subject line is fundamentally weak, boring, or easily ignored, your email is instantly sent to the digital graveyard, and your return on investment plummets to absolute zero. Most beginners make the fatal error of treating the subject line as an afterthought, hurriedly typing something generic like monthly newsletter volume 4 or Tuesday update just seconds before hitting the final send button. This completely destroys potential outcomes and wastes all the back-end architectural work you just completed. Instead, we must construct subject lines based entirely on proven cognitive triggers that compel human psychology to take immediate action. The primary psychological levers you must master are intense curiosity, highly specific relevance, and genuine urgency. Let us look at a highly documented case study involving an independent financial consultant named David, operating out of Miami, Florida. David was struggling massively with his weekly market analysis emails. His default subject line was always weekly financial market review and updates. His open rates were abysmal, hovering dangerously low at around 11%. His audience was completely ignoring his deeply researched insights because his subject line felt like mandatory boring homework. We completely overhauled his approach by injecting strategic curiosity and specific relevance. We changed his subject line to "the silent tax draining your retirement in 2026. The shift in potential outcomes was explosive. His open rates skyrocketed to 47% overnight. Why did this happen? Because the new subject line did not just lazily describe the content. It opened a massive psychological loop in the reader's mind. The reader immediately thinks, what is this silent tax? Is it affecting my specific retirement account? Am I losing money right now without knowing it? The only way the human brain can close that stressful cognitive loop is by clicking the email and reading the contents. However, you must deploy these triggers responsibly. If you use deceptive tactics where the subject line makes a massive promise, but the email body completely fails to deliver on that specific topic, you will permanently destroy brand trust. Your subscribers will feel manipulated, they will immediately click the spam button, and your domain deliverability reputation will be permanently incinerated. You must master the delicate balance of teasing immense value while strictly delivering on that exact premise within the first 2 sentences of the actual email body. Now, right next to the subject line in the Mailchimp campaign builder, you will see a secondary, highly underutilized text field labeled preview text. Do not dare leave this critical field blank. The preview text is the brief snippet of context that appears directly underneath or next to the subject line in almost every major mobile email client like Apple Mail and Gmail. If you ignore this and leave it empty, Mailchimp and the receiving inbox will simply scrape the very first line of text from the top of your email design. This frequently results in the preview text displaying humiliating, robotic back-end phrases like "view this email in your browser" or "click here to load images." This instantly communicates to your subscriber that this is an automated corporate blast, causing them to delete it without a second thought. You must treat the preview text as the ultimate supporting actor to your subject line. This hidden preview text field is a strictly limited piece of digital real estate, typically displaying anywhere from 35 to 90 characters depending entirely on the specific device screen size and whether the user is holding their smartphone vertically or horizontally. Because of this unpredictable technical variable, you must front-load the most critical, curiosity-inducing information at the absolute beginning of the preview text sentence. Do not waste the first 20 characters typing polite but useless filler words. If your subject line creates the curiosity loop, your preview text must push the urgency or add a layer of hyper-specific detail. Returning to David from Miami, if his subject line was "the silent tax draining your retirement in 2026, his customized preview text would be, "and the 3 specific IRS loopholes to protect your portfolio today." The combination of these 2 elements creates an irresistible 1-2 punch of marketing psychology. The subject line grabs their attention by highlighting a potential threat, and the preview text provides the immediate, actionable solution, forcing the open. Even with a deep understanding of human psychology, you must never rely solely on your own gut feeling when launching a massive campaign. The modern digital economy demands that we rely entirely on hard data and historical trends. This brings us to the split testing functionality within Mailchimp, a highly advanced feature that separates amateur creators from professional business operators. Before you blast your promotional campaign to your entire master audience of 20,000 people, Mailchimp allows you to create 2 entirely different variations of your subject line. Imagine if you are launching a new online educational course, and you are torn between 2 different angles. Subject line A focuses entirely on saving time, while subject line B focuses entirely on increasing productivity. When configuring this inside Mailchimp, you navigate directly to the Campaigns tab, select Create Campaign, and explicitly choose the A/B test option. Mailchimp will automatically take a small, randomized sample size of your list, perhaps 20% of your total audience, and split them perfectly in half. 10% receives subject line A, and 10% receives subject line B. Mailchimp then silently monitors the live data for a specific duration, meticulously tracking exactly which psychological angle generates the highest open rate. While Mailchimp allows you to select a time frame as short as 1 hour, historical trends in email marketing engagement suggest that a 4-hour testing window provides a much more statistically significant dataset, especially when factoring in the reality that your audience lives across multiple different United States time zones. Once the clear winner emerges from the statistical data, Mailchimp automatically deploys the winning subject line to the remaining 80% of your master audience. This automated mathematical optimization ensures that you are constantly maximizing your potential outcomes with every single broadcast, allowing you to systematically learn the exact language patterns that your specific audience responds to best. You have now mastered the back-end data architecture, you have secured your domain authentication to guarantee deliverability, and you have crafted an irresistible, psychologically optimized subject line paired with a compelling preview text. You have successfully convinced the user to stop scrolling and click your email. But the battle is only half won. The absolute worst thing that can happen right now is for your subscriber to open that email, expecting incredible value, only to be confronted with a chaotic, unreadable, visually disastrous wall of text that looks thoroughly unprofessional. The exact moment they open the email, you have roughly 3 seconds to guide their eyes down a precise visual hierarchy towards your primary call to action button. If your design is cluttered, if your images fail to load correctly on a mobile device, or if your branding is inconsistent, they will bounce immediately, and you will lose the conversion forever. We must now conquer the Mailchimp drag and drop design builder. And I am going to show you the exact structural layout that forces the human eye to read your entire message from top to bottom without hesitation. When you enter the Mailchimp campaign builder for the very first time, you are immediately confronted with a massive grid of pre-designed, highly stylized templates. Your first instinct, and the instinct of almost every amateur marketer, is to select the most visually complex, colorful, graphic-heavy template available, because you falsely believe that a complex design equals a professional brand. You must resist this urge entirely. Historical trends analyzing billions of sent emails consistently demonstrate that heavily formatted, graphic-intense emails not only trigger aggressive spam filters, but also severely distract the reader from the actual core message. We are going to bypass all of those chaotic pre-designed templates and select the absolutely bare, fundamentally naked template labeled simply as basic one column. By starting with a completely blank digital canvas, you force yourself to intentionally build a visual hierarchy that strictly serves your conversion goals, rather than trying to shoehorn your critical business message into a pre-existing, bloated design framework. The fundamental architectural concept we are going to deploy inside this blank canvas is known within user experience design as the inverted pyramid. The inverted pyramid is a structural layout methodology that intentionally manipulates the reader's eye movement, starting with a wide, attention-grabbing foundation at the top of the screen and systematically narrowing their focus as they scroll downward, physically funneling their vision directly into your single, highly visible call to action button. To construct this right now, look at the block menu on the left side of your Mailchimp interface. You will see various elements like text, box text, divider, image, and button. The very first block you must drag and drop into your canvas is your company logo. However, a massive mistake that destroys potential outcomes is making this logo aggressively large. Your subscriber already knows who you are because they read your verified sender name in their inbox. If they open your email on their smartphone and the only thing they see filling their entire screen is a massive high-resolution corporate logo, they are instantly going to swipe away. Your logo should be strictly restricted to a maximum width of 150 pixels, sitting quietly and professionally at the absolute top center of the design, taking up no more than 10% of the vertical screen space above the fold. Directly beneath your cleanly sized logo, you will drag and drop the image block to serve as your visual hero element. This is where you anchor the emotional core of your message. Let us examine a highly specific case study involving a business owner named Robert, who operates an elite, high-end residential landscaping firm based in Denver, Colorado. In the early months of the current year 2026, Robert launched a massive spring promotional campaign. He hired a professional photographer and uploaded a massive, uncompressed, 12-megabyte image file directly into his Mailchimp hero block, showcasing a sprawling, beautiful backyard renovation. He completely ignored the technical constraints of mobile data bandwidth. When his thousands of subscribers opened the email on their cellular networks while commuting or sitting in coffee shops, the massive image file took an agonizing 8 seconds to load. Human psychology dictates that you have less than 3 seconds to deliver visual value before the user abandons the screen. Robert experienced a catastrophic bounce rate because his audience was just staring at a blank, loading rectangle. To prevent this disastrous scenario, you must always compress your hero images to a maximum file size of 1 megabyte before uploading them into the Mailchimp Content Studio. Furthermore, you must absolutely utilize the alt text field located in the right-hand settings panel when you click on your image block. Alt text, or alternative text, is a hidden descriptive sentence that tells email servers exactly what the image depicts. Not only is this legally critical for accessibility compliance for visually impaired users utilizing screen reading software, but major inbox providers actively scan your alt text to determine if your email is legitimate communication or heavily disguised visual spam. If Robert had compressed his image and simply typed a descriptive alt text like Denver residential backyard landscaping featuring custom stone patio and fire pit, his deliverability and engagement metrics would have stabilized immediately. Directly underneath your optimized, fast-loading hero image, you will construct the wide base of your inverted pyramid by dragging in a standard text block. This is where your copywriting takes center stage. You must ruthlessly format this text for a fatigued, scrolling mobile audience. Do not write massive, dense paragraphs that resemble an academic textbook. Break your copy into highly digestible 1 or 2 sentence micro paragraphs. You must navigate to the Style tab located on the right side panel, and strictly configure your typography for maximum legibility. Never use a font size smaller than 16 pixels for your body copy, as anything smaller forces the user to squint and strain their eyes on a mobile device, instantly causing friction and abandonment. You must select universally supported, web-safe fonts such as Arial Helvetica, Tahoma, or Verdana. While Mailchimp offers the ability to import custom, highly stylized brand fonts, historical trends clearly show that custom fonts frequently fail to render correctly across different email clients like older versions of Microsoft Outlook, causing your beautifully written copy to instantly default to a chaotic, unformatted system font like Times New Roman. Maintain extreme visual contrast by keeping your text a dark, rich charcoal gray against a stark, pure white background. Do not experiment with light gray text on a white background or white text on a dark background for long-form copy, as it completely destroys reading comprehension and visual accessibility. Now, as the reader's eye naturally tracks downward through your easily digestible micro-paragraphs, you must aggressively narrow their focus toward the ultimate point of conversion, which is the button block. Drag the button element directly beneath your text. This is the absolute tip of your inverted pyramid. The most common structural failure at this stage is providing multiple, competing calls to action. Do not ask your subscriber to follow you on Instagram, read your blog post, and buy your product all within the same campaign. You must demand one single, unified action. If you want them to book a consultation, every single element of the email must point to that one specific outcome. When styling this button, navigate back to the right-hand panel and utilize the psychology of color contrast. If your entire brand color palette consists of soft, muted blues and grays, your call to action button must absolutely not be a soft, muted blue. It must be a vibrant, violently contrasting color like a deep, saturated orange or a sharp, aggressive green. You want that button to visually scream at the reader, making it impossible to ignore. Adjust the button padding settings to ensure the clickable area is massive, allowing a human thumb to easily tap it on a mobile screen without accidentally clicking empty space. Before you even consider moving forward, you must physically verify this entire structural layout by utilizing the most important diagnostic tool inside the Mailchimp platform, which is the mobile preview toggle located at the top right of the navigation bar. You cannot trust how your campaign looks on your massive, ultra-wide desktop monitor. Over 70% of your audience in the United States will experience this campaign exclusively through the 6-inch glass screen of their smartphone. The mobile preview forces you to analyze the stacking order of your blocks. Does the logo take up too much space? Is the hero image easily recognizable? Is the font legible without zooming? Does the contrasting button immediately appear on the screen with just one short flick of the thumb? If you have meticulously followed the inverted pyramid structure, your mobile preview will display a perfectly streamlined, highly aggressive conversion funnel that physically compels the reader to take action. You have now completely mastered the technical setup, the audience architecture, the psychological triggers of the subject line, and the advanced visual hierarchy of the design builder. You are holding a fully loaded, highly optimized digital weapon. But the most dangerous moment for any digital entrepreneur is the exact second they decide to pull the trigger. If you simply hit the send button immediately without understanding the complex algorithms that govern inbox delivery timing, your perfectly designed email might hit their inbox at the exact moment they are asleep, entirely destroying your potential outcomes. And I am going to reveal the highly guarded mathematical scheduling strategies that the largest corporate brands use to guarantee top-of-inbox placement right now. To understand the sophisticated world of scheduling, you must first abandon the naive idea that there is one universal, perfect time to send an email that applies to every business in the United States. If you search the internet for the best time to send an email, you will find generic, outdated advice claiming that Tuesday at 10 in the morning is the golden hour for digital marketing. While this was a common historical trend a decade ago, the modern digital landscape of 2026 is far more fragmented and complex. If every business in America sends their campaign at 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning, the consumer's inbox becomes a chaotic, congested digital traffic jam where your message is instantly buried under 50 other competing notifications. To maximize your potential outcomes, you must move beyond generic advice and utilize the 3 specific scheduling engines built directly into the Mailchimp platform: send time optimization, time zone delivery, and batch delivery. Let us look at a detailed case study involving a fitness equipment entrepreneur named Jessica, based in San Diego, California. Jessica sells high-end home gym systems to busy professionals across all 50 states. Initially, Jessica would manually hit the send button at 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific time. For her customers in California, the timing was acceptable. However, for her massive customer base in New York and Florida, the email was arriving at noon, right as they were heading out for lunch or drowning in midday meetings. For her growing international audience in London or Berlin, the email was arriving in the middle of the night. By the time those customers woke up and checked their phones, Jessica's email was already pushed down to the 20th or 30th position in their inbox. We implemented Mailchimp's time zone delivery feature to solve this geographical disparity. This advanced setting allows you to schedule a campaign to go out at a specific local time for every subscriber, regardless of where they are on the planet. If Jessica schedules her campaign for 8 o'clock in the morning using time zone delivery, Mailchimp servers will hold the message and release it in waves. It hits the New York inbox at 8 Eastern, the Chicago inbox an hour later at 8 Central, and the Los Angeles inbox 2 hours after that at 8 Pacific. This ensures that every single subscriber, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, sees your brand at the exact moment they are starting their day and checking their notifications, providing a much higher probability of a primary inbox open. However, even with perfect time zone alignment, you still face the challenge of individual human behavior. This is where Mailchimp's Send Time Optimization Engine becomes your most valuable mathematical asset. This is not a simple timer. It is a sophisticated data processing algorithm that analyzes the historical engagement patterns of every individual person on your list. Mailchimp looks at when John in Texas usually opens his emails versus when Mary in Seattle clicks her links. When you select Send Time Optimization, you are telling Mailchimp to calculate the specific moment for each individual subscriber that yields the highest statistical probability of an open. If the data shows that John typically engages with content at 9:30 at night after his kids are in bed, but Mary is an early bird who clears her inbox at 6:15 in the morning, Mailchimp will deliver the exact same campaign to them at those specific, disparate times. Historical trends from high-volume senders indicate that utilizing this data-driven optimization can lead to a significant lift in total engagement compared to a static, manual send. But there is a technical danger to sending too many emails at once that almost no one discusses. This is where batch delivery comes into play. Imagine if you have successfully built an audience of 100,000 subscribers. If you hit send and Mailchimp attempts to deliver 100,000 emails to various servers like Gmail, Yahoo, and Outlook all in the same microsecond, it can trigger a defensive response from those receiving servers. Major inbox providers use sophisticated rate-limiting algorithms to prevent server overloads. If they see a massive, instantaneous surge of traffic from a single sender, they may temporarily throttle your delivery or worse, route your messages directly to the spam folder as a precautionary measure. Batch delivery allows you to break your massive send into smaller, manageable chunks. You can instruct Mailchimp to send your campaign in batches of 10,000 emails every 30 minutes. This creates a steady, natural-looking flow of traffic that is much more likely to bypass aggressive server filters, protecting your sender reputation and ensuring long-term deliverability. To configure these settings, navigate to the final schedule step in the Mailchimp Campaign Builder. You will see a toggle for Send Now or Schedule. When you click Schedule, you are presented with a calendar and a clock. Beneath the time selection, you will see the options for delivery time optimization. To use these advanced features, you must be on a paid Mailchimp plan, but for any business looking to scale, the investment is often justified by the sheer increase in potential outcomes. If you are just starting out on the free tier, your best strategy is to look at your own audience's historical data in the Analytics tab. Look for the peak open times from your previous 3 campaigns and manually aim for those windows. Imagine if you are a real estate agent in Phoenix named Mark. Mark realized through his Mailchimp reports that his audience of prospective homebuyers was almost never opening his emails during the traditional work week. They were too busy with their own careers. However, his data showed a massive spike in engagement on Sunday mornings between 8 and 10 o'clock. By shifting his entire content strategy to a Sunday morning delivery, he stopped fighting for attention during the noisy work week and started reaching his clients when they were relaxed, at home, and actively thinking about their future housing needs. This shift in strategy, driven by hard data rather than gut feeling, transformed his email list from a neglected chore into his primary source of qualified leads. You now have the technical foundation, the design hierarchy, the psychological triggers, and the mathematical scheduling precision to launch a world-class campaign. You have done the work that 99% of your competitors are too lazy to do. But even the most perfect campaign is useless if you do not know how to read the scoreboard. Once that send button is pushed and the emails are flying across the digital landscape, a massive amount of data begins streaming back into your Mailchimp dashboard in real time. If you do not know how to interpret the difference between a hard bounce and a soft bounce, or why your click-through rate is high but your conversion rate is low, you are essentially flying your business blind. You must understand how to diagnose the health of your list and the effectiveness of your copy by performing a surgical post-send analysis. We are about to dive into the Mailchimp Reports dashboard to uncover the hidden stories the data is telling you about your customers, and more importantly, how to use that data to make your next campaign even more powerful than the first. The moment you click that final send button, the real work of a high-level digital marketer actually begins, because you are no longer operating on assumptions or theories. You are now receiving direct, unfiltered feedback from the United States marketplace in the form of raw data streaming into your Mailchimp Reports dashboard. If you ignore these numbers, you are essentially throwing money into a digital void without checking to see if it ever comes back. To truly master the potential outcomes of your email marketing, you must perform a surgical post-send analysis on 4 specific key performance indicators: open rate, click-through rate, bounce rate, and unsubscribe rate. Each of these metrics tells a very specific story about the health of your brand and the quality of your connection with your audience. Let us first examine the open rate, which is the most basic yet frequently misunderstood metric in your dashboard. Historically, a healthy open rate in the United States across most industries in 2026 hovers between 20 and 30%. If your open rate is significantly lower than this, you have a top-of-funnel problem. This usually points to one of 2 structural failures. Either your subject lines are psychologically weak and failing to create an open loop, or your domain authentication has failed, and your emails are being rerouted to the spam folder. Imagine a business owner named Amanda who runs a specialized interior design consultancy in Nashville, Tennessee. Amanda was sending out beautiful, image-heavy newsletters, but her open rate was stuck at a dismal 9%. When we looked at her reports, we realized she was using a generic subject line like March newsletter. By simply changing her subject line to the 3 colors that will dominate Nashville homes in 2026, her open rate jumped to 34%. The data told us exactly what her audience craved: local relevance and future-focused trends. However, the open rate can sometimes be misleading due to recent privacy updates from major providers like Apple. These providers now often preload email images on their own servers, which can artificially inflate your open stats. This is why you must look deeper at your click-through rate, or CTR. This is the ultimate measure of your content's effectiveness. If people are opening your emails but not clicking your links, your inverted pyramid structure has failed. Your copy was likely too long, your call to action was buried, or your button was not visually distinct enough. A historical trend for a high-performing campaign is a CTR of around 2 to 5%. If you are seeing a CTR below 1%, it means there is a massive disconnect between what your subject line promised and what your email body delivered. You have created interest but failed to provide enough value or a clear enough path to the next step. Now, we must discuss the most dangerous metrics in your report: bounces and unsubscribes. Within the Mailchimp ecosystem, there is a critical distinction between a soft bounce and a hard bounce that you must understand to protect your account from permanent suspension. A soft bounce is typically a temporary delivery failure. Perhaps the recipient's inbox was completely full, or their server was momentarily down. Mailchimp will automatically attempt to redeliver these emails over the next few days. A hard bounce, however, is a permanent failure. This happens when the email address is invalid, fake, or has been deleted entirely. If your hard bounce rate exceeds 2%, Mailchimp's automated compliance systems will flag your account as a high-risk sender. High hard bounce rates are a major red flag to inbox providers like Gmail and Outlook that you are likely using an old, stale, or even a purchased list, which is a direct violation of Mailchimp's terms of service. To maintain a pristine sender reputation, you must use the reports dashboard to identify these hard bounces and immediately remove them from your master audience list. Let us look at a case study involving a tech startup founder named Marcus in San Francisco. Marcus had an old list of 5,000 leads he had collected over 3 years but had never actually emailed. When he finally sent his first campaign, his hard bounce rate hit 12% instantly. Mailchimp immediately paused his account for a manual compliance review. Marcus had to prove that he had obtained those emails legally and explain why the bounce rate was so high. This is why list hygiene is not optional. Every 6 months, you should use the segmenting tools we discussed earlier to identify subscribers who have not opened a single email in the last 90 days. These are cold subscribers. While it might hurt your ego to see your total subscriber count drop, you should proactively remove or archive these individuals. By removing unengaged contacts, you increase your overall open rate percentage, which signals to inbox providers that your content is highly desirable, further boosting your primary inbox deliverability for your active, high-value subscribers. The final piece of the analytical puzzle is the unsubscribe rate. Many new marketers view an unsubscribe as a personal rejection or a business failure. In reality, an unsubscribe is a gift. It is a natural filtering process that removes people who are no longer interested in your product or service, ensuring that you are only paying Mailchimp to store data for people who actually want to hear from you. However, if you see a sudden massive spike in unsubscribes after a specific campaign, you must analyze exactly what caused it. Did you change your tone? Did you increase your sending frequency too aggressively? Did you send a promotional offer that was completely irrelevant to that specific segment? Use the unsubscribe feedback report in Mailchimp to see the reasons people provide. If they frequently select the option "I no longer want to receive these emails," it is a normal part of business. If they select "I never signed up for this list," you have a major legal compliance and branding problem that needs immediate attention. Beyond these 4 major metrics, Mailchimp offers a highly advanced visual tool called the Click Map. This tool provides a heat map overlay of your email design, showing you exactly where people clicked. You might find that 40% of your clicks came from a small hyperlinked image of a product rather than your big, beautiful call to action button. This data is pure gold for your next campaign. It tells you exactly how your specific audience prefers to interact with your content. If the click map shows that everyone is clicking the first link in the first paragraph and ignoring everything below the fold, then for your next campaign, you should move your most important information and your primary button even higher up in the design. By meticulously studying these reports, you are turning your email marketing into a scientific process of continuous improvement. You are no longer guessing what works, you are iterating based on the verified behaviors of the United States consumer. You have successfully moved from a beginner who just sends emails to a professional operator who manages a high-performance distribution channel. But as your list grows and your business scales, you will quickly realize that manually sending every single campaign and manually managing every segment is an impossible, exhausting task. You cannot be tethered to your laptop every Tuesday morning to hit send. To truly unlock the power of Mailchimp and create a business that operates while you sleep, you must move into the world of advanced logic and automated workflows. We are about to step into the engine room of Mailchimp automations, where we will build a self-sustaining system that welcomes every new lead, nurtures every prospect, and recovers lost revenue without you ever having to lift a finger. And I am going to show you the exact 3-part automation sequence that every professional business must have active by the end of this year. The engine room of Mailchimp is the Customer Journey Builder, a sophisticated automation suite that allows you to map out every single touchpoint a subscriber has with your brand after they join your list. In the current year of 2026, the competitive landscape of the United States digital economy is far too fast for manual intervention. If a potential customer signs up for your newsletter at 2 o'clock in the morning in New York while you are asleep in Los Angeles, and they do not receive an immediate confirmation or value delivery, they will have completely forgotten who you are by the time you wake up and check your notifications. You must transition from a broadcast mindset to an automation mindset. We are going to build the most critical 3-part sequence that serves as the defensive and offensive backbone of your digital presence. This sequence consists of the immediate gratification welcome, the educational nurture, and the behavioral pivot. Let us look at a case study involving a small business owner named Thomas, who runs a premium woodworking supply company based in Asheville, North Carolina. Thomas was manually emailing every person who signed up for his free woodworking plan PDF. Because he was busy managing his workshop and shipping physical orders, it often took him 48 to 72 hours to send the PDF. By the time the email arrived, the prospect had usually already found a different plan on a competitor's site or lost interest in the project entirely. His conversion rate from lead to customer was less than 1%. We implemented a Mailchimp customer journey with an automated trigger set to contact Join's audience. Now, the millisecond a user hits submit on his website, Mailchimp servers instantly fire off the first email containing the download link. This is the immediate gratification welcome. Historical trends in e-commerce consistently show that the highest level of consumer engagement occurs within the first 5 minutes of a subscription. By automating this, Thomas saw his open rates for the first email climb to an unprecedented 82%. But the automation does not stop at the delivery of a PDF. Most amateurs make the mistake of stopping after one email. To build a sustainable business, you must implement the educational nurture phase. In the Mailchimp Journey Builder, you will drag a time delay block directly beneath your first email and set it for 24 hours. This creates a logical pause. After 1 day, the system automatically checks if the subscriber is still engaged and sends email number 2. For Thomas, this second email was not a sales pitch. It was an educational deep dive into the specific types of North American hardwoods best suited for the plans they just downloaded. By providing high-value information without asking for a purchase, Thomas established himself as an expert and a trusted advisor, rather than just another faceless vendor. This stage of the automation is designed to warm up the cold lead, moving them through the psychological stages of awareness and consideration based on proven marketing funnels. The third and most advanced part of this sequence is the behavioral pivot, where we use conditional logic to change the path of the journey based on how the subscriber interacts with your content. Inside the Journey Builder, you will drag an if/else block into your workflow. You set the condition to check if the subscriber clicked the specific link in your second email. If the answer is yes, the automation branches to the right, tagging them as high intent and sending a third email 48 hours later with a limited time promotional discount on a starter toolkit. If the answer is no, the automation branches to the left, sending a different email that asks a question about their current skill level to help categorize them into a different group. This level of granular automated decision-making is what allows a solo entrepreneur in 2026 to compete with massive corporate marketing departments. You are essentially building a digital sales representative that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without ever needing a break or a paycheck. Let us imagine a different scenario involving a service-based business. Imagine if you are a certified public accountant named Karen, operating in Chicago. During the tax season of 2026, Karen is completely overwhelmed with client meetings. She uses a Mailchimp automation triggered by a specific tag, labeled consultation_booked. The moment her scheduling software applies that tag, Mailchimp triggers a journey that sends a series of preparation emails. Email 1 is a checklist of required documents. Email 2, sent 3 days later, is a video explaining the new 2026 tax code changes. Email 3 is a simple reminder of the appointment location and time. This automation reduced Karen's administrative back and forth by 60% and virtually eliminated client no-shows. Potential outcomes of such a system include higher client satisfaction scores and a significantly more organized professional practice, all because the software is handling the repetitive communication tasks that usually fall through the cracks during busy seasons. To build this yourself, click on the automations icon on your Mailchimp sidebar and select Create. You will be prompted to choose between a classic automation or the new customer journey. Always choose the customer journey for its superior logic capabilities. Start with your starting point, which is typically sign up. Then, use the plus icon to add your journey points. Each journey point can be an action, like sending an email, or a rule, like a time delay or a branching condition. When you are writing the emails for these journeys, remember the inverted pyramid structure and the psychological triggers we discussed earlier. The subject lines for your automated emails need to be even more compelling, because these are the emails that will build the foundation of your long-term relationship with the subscriber. One of the most powerful hidden features in the Journey Builder is the ability to send internal notifications to yourself or your team based on subscriber actions. If a subscriber in your nurture sequence clicks a link to your high-ticket coaching page 3 times in 48 hours, you can set an action in the journey to send an email notification directly to your inbox. This allows you to identify your hottest leads in real time, giving you the opportunity to reach out personally or send a tailored manual follow-up. This is the perfect blend of automation efficiency and human touch. Historical trends in high-ticket sales show that personal follow-ups to warm leads identified by automation have a significantly higher conversion rate than cold outreach. You have now constructed a sophisticated, self-sustaining ecosystem. You have a verified, authenticated domain. You have a consolidated, meticulously tagged audience. You have mastered the visual hierarchy of conversion-focused design. You have used mathematical scheduling to hit the top of the inbox, and you have deployed an automated journey that nurtures your leads while you focus on the core operations of your business. You are now in the top 1% of Mailchimp users. However, even with all this technical perfection, there is one final massive hurdle you must clear. As you scale into thousands of subscribers, you will inevitably face the challenge of list decay and the complex legal landscape of data privacy. If you do not know how to stay compliant with evolving United States and international regulations, or how to handle the inevitable technical errors that occur as your database expands, you risk losing everything you have built. We are moving into the final stages of this masterclass where we will tackle the high-stakes world of compliance, list hygiene, and advanced troubleshooting to ensure your digital asset remains protected and profitable for years to come. The high-stakes world of digital compliance in the United States in 2026 is no longer a suggestion. It is a mandatory operational requirement that can determine the survival of your entire business. As you scale your Mailchimp audience, you are moving from a simple list of names to a massive database of sensitive personal consumer information. This brings you directly under the jurisdiction of a complex web of legal frameworks, including the CAN-SPAM Act at the federal level and state-specific regulations, like the California Consumer Privacy Act or CCPA. If you ignore these regulations, you are not just risking a slap on the wrist, you are risking massive financial penalties and the permanent blacklisting of your business domain from every major email service provider in the world. To ensure your digital asset remains protected, we must first address the absolute non-negotiable requirement of the physical address and the unsubscribe link. Mailchimp, by default, will not allow you to send a campaign unless you include a physical mailing address in the footer of every single email. This is a federal requirement under the CAN-SPAM Act designed to prevent anonymous spamming. However, if you are a solopreneur operating out of a home office in a city like Austin or Denver, you might be hesitant to broadcast your private home address to thousands of strangers on your email list. Many beginners try to circumvent this by typing a fake address or leaving it blank, which will result in an immediate account suspension during Mailchimp's automated compliance sweep. A professional and legal workaround used by thousands of digital entrepreneurs is the use of a registered P.O. box or a professional virtual office address. This satisfies the legal requirement of providing a physical point of contact while maintaining your personal privacy and safety. Let us examine a critical case study involving a rising lifestyle influencer named Chloe, based in Los Angeles. In early 2026, Chloe's brand exploded, and her email list grew from 500 to 50,000 subscribers in less than 90 days. In her excitement to monetize this growth, Chloe manually removed the unsubscribe link from her promotional emails, falsely believing that if people could not leave her list, her potential outcomes for sales would increase. This was a catastrophic legal and technical error. Within 48 hours of sending a campaign without an unsubscribe link, her spam complaint rate surged to 3%. Gmail and Outlook immediately flagged her domain as a malicious actor. Not only did Mailchimp permanently terminate her account for a Tier 1 compliance violation, but her website domain was added to a global real-time black hole list. For the next 6 months, even her private, one-on-one business emails were being automatically routed to the spam folders of her partners and vendors. Chloe's story serves as a stark warning. The unsubscribe link is your primary safety valve. It must be clearly visible, easy to click, and function instantly without requiring the user to log in or provide a reason. Beyond basic footers, you must master the concept of double opt-in. While Mailchimp allows for single opt-in, where a user is added to your list the moment they enter their email on your site, historical trends in 2026 suggest that double opt-in provides a much higher level of protection against bot attacks and fraudulent signups. In a double opt-in scenario, the user submits their email, and Mailchimp sends an automated confirmation message with a button that says, "Yes, subscribe me to this list." The contact is only added to your billable audience once they click that second button. This creates a digitally verified paper trail of consent. If a consumer ever files a formal complaint claiming they never signed up for your marketing, you can point to the specific timestamp and IP address of their double opt-in confirmation as your legal defense. To enable this, go to your audience settings, select Sign-up Forms, and check the box for double opt-in. It might slightly slow down your list growth, but it significantly increases the quality and engagement of your subscribers. Now we must tackle the technical maintenance of list hygiene and the elimination of the gray mail phenomenon. Gray mail refers to emails that people technically signed up for but no longer want, and instead of unsubscribing, they simply ignore or delete them. If a large portion of your list becomes gray mail, your engagement metrics will slowly decay, signaling to inbox providers that your content is low quality. This eventually leads to a slow death of your deliverability. To combat this, you must perform a sunset policy every 6 months. Imagine a professional consultant named Brian in Seattle. Brian noticed that out of his 10,000 subscribers, nearly 3,000 had not opened an email in over 6 months. Instead of continuing to pay for these inactive contacts, Brian created a segment in Mailchimp for subscribers who had not opened the last 10 campaigns. He sent this specific segment one final, highly direct email with the subject line, "Should I stop emailing you?" This email contained two buttons, one to stay on the list and one to unsubscribe. Out of the 3,000 inactive people, only 50 clicked to stay. Brian then archived the remaining 2,950 contacts. His total list size decreased, but his open rates immediately jumped from 18% to 42%. This drastic improvement in engagement metrics told the email servers that Brian's content was now highly relevant to his remaining audience, ensuring his future emails stayed at the top of the primary inbox. Troubleshooting is the final layer of your professional defense. Even with perfect compliance, technical errors will occur. You might find that your images are broken in the Outlook desktop app, while looking perfect on iPhone. You might see a sudden drop in deliverability to Yahoo addresses specifically. When this happens, you must use the Inbox Preview tool within Mailchimp. This tool allows you to see exactly how your email renders across over 40 different email clients and devices before you send it. If you see a formatting error in a specific version of Outlook, it is usually because that version uses a different rendering engine than modern mobile apps. You can fix this by simplifying your design, using web-safe fonts, and ensuring your image widths are defined in pixels rather than just percentages. Furthermore, you must monitor your account health dashboard weekly. Mailchimp provides a color-coded rating for your sender reputation. If you see your rating dip into the yellow or red zones, you must immediately stop all promotional broadcasts and analyze your recent reports for high bounce rates or spam complaints. Usually, a dip in health is caused by a recent import of low-quality data or a high-frequency sending schedule that has annoyed your audience. You fix this by slowing down your cadence and focusing on purely educational, non-promotional content for 2 weeks to rebuild your trust with the receiving servers. You have now built a fortress around your digital assets. You are legally compliant, your data is clean, your technical infrastructure is authenticated, and your audience is meticulously organized. You have successfully navigated the entire step-by-step process of launching your first high-performance Mailchimp campaign. You are no longer guessing. You are operating with the precision of a professional marketing agency. But as you look toward the future of 2026 and beyond, there is one final revolutionary shift you must prepare for. The era of static, manual email marketing is coming to an end, and the era of hyper-personalized, AI-driven predictive marketing is beginning. Mailchimp has integrated a suite of advanced AI tools that can literally write your copy, predict when a customer is about to churn, and automatically generate custom product recommendations for every individual subscriber. We are entering the final part of this masterclass where I will show you how to leverage these futuristic tools to put your business growth on absolute autopilot. And I am going to reveal the one AI feature that will save you 10 hours of work every single week starting today. The final frontier of your Mailchimp journey involves the integration of the Content Optimizer and the Intuit Assist AI engine, which are the primary drivers of marketing efficiency in 2026. For years, the most significant bottleneck for any business owner in the United States has been the creative process. You spend hours staring at a blinking cursor, trying to write the perfect email, or you struggle to find the right balance between being helpful and being promotional. The Content Optimizer solves this by comparing your draft in real time against millions of top-performing campaigns in your specific industry. It analyzes your word count, your link density, and your visual balance. If your sentences are too complex for a mobile reader, the AI highlights them and suggests a simplified version. This is not just a spell checker. It is a high-level editorial consultant built directly into your browser. Let us look at a case study involving a small business owner named Derek, who runs an outdoor gear shop in Boulder, Colorado. Derek is an expert in mountain climbing equipment, but he is not a professional copywriter. He was spending entire Sunday afternoons trying to draft his weekly newsletter. We activated the Mailchimp Creative Assistant for him, which scanned his website, pulled his brand colors, extracted his high-resolution product photography, and automatically generated 3 different layout variations with pre-written copy based on his most recent blog post. By utilizing these AI-generated starting points, Derek reduced his content creation time from 5 hours per week to just 15 minutes. Historical trends suggest that businesses using AI-assisted content generation see a significant increase in the frequency of their sends because the friction of creation has been eliminated. Potential outcomes for Derek included more consistent communication with his audience and a noticeable lift in weekend foot traffic at his physical storefront, because he was actually hitting the send button every single week instead of skipping it when he felt overwhelmed. However, the true intelligence of the 2026 Mailchimp platform lies in predictive segmentation. Standard segmentation, as we discussed earlier, relies on what a customer has done in the past. Predictive segmentation uses machine learning to forecast what a customer is likely to do in the future. In your audience dashboard, you will find a data point labeled Predicted Customer Lifetime Value. Mailchimp categorizes your subscribers into segments of low, moderate, and high predicted value. This allows you to prioritize your marketing spend. For a customer with a high predicted value who hasn't made a purchase in 30 days, the AI might suggest an automated win-back sequence with a specific incentive. Conversely, for a customer predicted to have a high churn probability, the system can trigger a specific survey to identify their dissatisfaction before they hit the unsubscribe button. This proactive approach to database management is how the most successful American brands are maintaining their market share in an increasingly crowded digital landscape. Imagine a scenario involving an online subscription service based in New York City called Urban Greenery. They ship indoor plants to apartment dwellers. In the current year of 2026, they utilized Mailchimp's likelihood to purchase predictor. The system identified a specific group of 400 subscribers who had been browsing the website frequently, but had not yet converted. These individuals were flagged as having a high likelihood to purchase within the next 7 days. Urban Greenery sent this tiny, hyper-targeted segment a personalized email featuring a customer testimonial video from someone in their same zip code. The conversion rate on that single small send was 12%, which is vastly higher than the 1% industry average for general broadcasts. This is the power of working with the algorithm rather than fighting against it. You are no longer shouting into a megaphone at a crowd. You are whispering a relevant solution into the ear of a person who is already looking for it. We must also discuss the role of the customer journey optimizer. Once you have built your automated journeys, the AI can now perform continuous A/B testing on every single branch of that journey. It might realize that for people in the central time zone, a 2-day delay between email 1 and email 2 results in a higher click rate, but for people on the East Coast, a 3-day delay is superior. The system can automatically adjust these delays in the background without you ever opening the builder. This level of autonomous optimization ensures that your business is constantly learning and evolving at a speed that no human marketing manager could ever match. You are essentially building a self-healing, self-improving revenue engine. As we conclude this deep dive masterclass, you must realize that the technical tools are only as effective as the strategy behind them. You now possess the complete blueprint. You have the domain authentication to ensure your voice is heard. You have the audience architecture to ensure you are organized. You have the design principles to ensure you are professional. You have the automation to ensure you are scalable. And you have the AI integration to ensure you are efficient. The final step is not a technical button. It is the commitment to consistency. The most successful email marketers in the United States are not those with the most complex designs, but those who show up in the inbox with a reliable cadence of value. Whether you send once a week or once a month, your audience must know that when your name appears on their screen, their life or their business is about to get a little bit better. But even as you master the art of the email, the digital world continues to shift toward a multi-channel approach. Your email list is your most valuable asset, but it can work in perfect harmony with your other platforms to create a 360-degree marketing ecosystem. Your Mailchimp data can be used to build powerful lookalike audiences on social media platforms, and your social media traffic can be funneled back into your Mailchimp automations to create a closed loop of growth. The strategies you have learned today are the foundation for everything else you will do in the digital space. You are no longer a passive observer of the digital economy. You are a sophisticated operator with the tools to build an independent, profitable, and protected future. However, there is one final, high-level strategy that we have not yet touched upon. It is a method for turning your email list into a recurring revenue stream that doesn't rely on selling individual products. It is the transition from a traditional newsletter to a paid premium subscription model using Mailchimp's integrated payment gateways. This is the ultimate evolution of the digital entrepreneur, where your knowledge and your curated content become the product itself. If you want to understand how to bridge the gap between free marketing and a paid content empire, you need to see how the top 1% of creators are structuring their backend to collect payments directly inside their emails. We have successfully completed the setup and the launch phase, but the scaling phase is where the true wealth of the digital age is created, and we are just getting started with the advanced monetization secrets of the modern inbox.